Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here. Just want to do a quick video for you guys to show that Banshee and Ada-1 and even Xur, which I know is going to sound weird on a Tuesday, but technically some people are kind of holding Xur hostage, which I'll explain in a little bit, have some weapon rolls that you might want to consider. So let me go over a few of these. Ada-1 is a very good mod if you enjoy certain builds, and then Xur has one weapon. If you can find an instance of Xur, we'll cover that in a second. So Banshee first has Whispering Slab with Vorpal. Vorpal got a boost to 20% for primary weapons, and if you put, for example, a major spec on this one, this is going to be 7.7%, this is going to be 20%, and we still have overload bows for a little while. It's a kinetic bow. If you don't have a good biting winds, it also comes with killing wind, so you've got a little mobility, weapon range, handling. You can also get more accuracy twice, and even a little faster draw time on the Whispering Slab, which is a little bit on the slower side with accuracy. It's a pretty solid roll, but Vorpal on a primary, especially if you're working on champions, which can work well with, you know, say Major Spec and Vorpal do work together to work towards champions, then this is actually not a bad kinetic bow if you need to work on some champions. And if you want kinetic here, that opens up your energy slot for whatever you want. So don't sleep on this one. If you need a bow for champions, this is a pretty solid option. Next one is going to be Night Watch. This one has rapid hit, always good. You've got tactical mag, you've got range or stability, depending on your preference of what you need, a little bit of handling. You also have explosive payload. So it creates the added area of effect detonation on impact. It basically gives the impact 2 hits. So depending on what you're using a scout rifle for, whether it's barrier for scout rifle or anything, it allows that hit to be, each bullet to basically hit twice. So it allows you to kind of be very conservative with your ammo with regards to champions, kind of takes range out of part of the equation. Rapid hit is really beneficial for a scout rifle and reload and stuff of that nature. So a rapid hit, explosive payload, tactical mag, and then options of range or stability on a scout rifle. There are better ones personally, but again, this explosive payload is kind of a unique perk, so it's not a bad one to hold on to, especially if you can just walk over to a vendor and pick it up. So don't sleep on this one either. I also saw on Twitter some people really jamming on the 7th Seraph. You've got snapshot sights and quick draw, which are beneficial if you're trying to get a little bit of, you know, quick switch on a shotgun in PvP. You've got assault mag, which is going to increase stability greatly and also have increased rate of fire. The rate of fire is mostly just to allow you to fire quicker. Maybe you need to fire too quickly. It is a lightweight frame as well, so you've got superb handling, so you can move faster. If you put something like Sprint Grip on this one, you might be able to, there you go, temporarily increase the weapon's ready and aim speed. So between Sprint Grip, Quick Draw, Snapshot Sights, and then you could also go Corkscrew Rifling for some range, a little extra range on this one as opposed to Barreled Shroud. Not a range masterwork here specifically, but overall not a bad shotgun just for quick access and for being a lightweight frame, having Quick Draw, put Sprint Grip on there, Snapshot Sights, a little faster firing if you get both. All in all, pretty reasonable roll for a CQC. Some people really like this one. It's not a bad one. If you feel like trying out a shotgun in PvP, I think you could have a decent time with this one. The other option we've got here is Eternal Blazon. This has got Disruption Break and Quick Draw on it. Quick Draw, not so much. Like if Rapid Hit was here would probably be better, but Disruption Break, breaking enemy shield with this weapon makes him more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a short period. So say if you are doing an activity where you have arc shields, you break the shield, switch over to something like Arbalist, for example, it's going to hit much harder in that kinetic slot. So depending on what you're doing, not a bad combo. Just wanted to point that one out because it is there. Not too much here on an Underdog Grenade Launcher. And then also for Outrageous Fortune, this is Quick Draw on a Grenade Launcher, not totally necessary, but you'd have Auto-Loading Holster, which can work well with Quick Draw, and Spike Grenades. Spike Grenades always hit a little bit harder. Now, one thing to note about him, it says it refreshes in 6 days. All of the weapons will technically refresh in 6 days, but the rolls on these weapons are only going to last from probably like 16 hours from reset. Basically, if it was 9 a.m. Pacific when these weapons went out, at about 3 p.m. Pacific tomorrow, so maybe it's 18 hours, they're going to get a new set of perks. The weapons will be the same. All these will be the same weapons, but the perks will be completely different. So, depending, 1, if you like any of these rolls, come to Banshee now, pick them up. And then 2, if you log in, say, on Thursday, you can come see if we got any new perks here as well. I'm going to be traveling on Thursday, so I will be out for part of the weekend. But let's go look at Ada-1's mod. Good one for Warmind cell builds. So depending on how many mods you have and how many mod components, Rage of the Warmind is one of those, adds additional solar damage to the explosions of Warmind cells. Basically, if you do have a Warmind Cell build, which Warmind Cells have been kind of nerfed down, they're not quite as key as they used to be, but as part of a Warmind Cell build, if you're really leaning into them, Rage of the Warmind is not a bad one to have. So if you don't have it, it's not bad. The main mod that I'm going to be looking for Ada-1 to sell for you guys again in the future, so again, check every so often depending on what she's got. You're looking for Protective Light. If you don't have that, that is a must-buy if you ever see it. So keep that in mind. Protective Light, the Void mod, you guys always see it on like anything that I'm doing for guides. If you ever see this from Ada-1, this is a must-buy for sure. So the final thing to note is Xur has this weird thing that can happen at weekly reset. Weekly reset is Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific, when daylight savings time is off, which is right now, and depending on where you are in the world, you may not even have it. But 9 a.m. Pacific time, right now, servers reset for the week. So you get kind of, you know, your weekly reset on the dungeon and other type of things of that nature. So Xur will usually leave at that time. But what you're able to do is if we're not kicked out for maintenance or expansions or whatever it may be, you can actually sit in the instance, minus the public event that's going on right now. You can actually sit in the instance, and when the server switch happens, Xur will actually still be there in this instance of the European Dead Zone's Winding Cove. Now, if I leave and I come back, he could easily be gone, but I actually logged in and was there for the switchover, and I was able to hang out with Xur for like 90 minutes. I actually logged in after getting booted out for a little bit of lunch, came back, and somebody else was holding the instance. So some people may hold this instance for a while because today it's actually a very unique situation. Because what happens is Xur doesn't sell exotics right now. He'll only do that from Friday to Monday. But he does have legendary weapons and armor. Now granted, you better, like class-wise, I don't know. I mean, this is an okay role for a Titan. But the main thing here is you've got a couple of okay weapons, but you have a Trials Scout Rifle that you cannot even get from Saint 14 right now. And to top it off, it's a pretty good roll. Snapshot sights, opening shot, light mag, arrowhead break, or extended barrel, depending on your preference, and a range masterwork. The fact that you can go like really, really high range on this one, you can almost max it out on this scout rifle. You can actually have a little bit of fun with this one. It's kind of crazy. But the fact that he's selling a Trials weapon that is not in the Trials loot pool is a bit of a mind boggle. I don't know if this is something that's going to be coming back on Witch Queen, if Xur really just can pull from basically anything possible, but he is selling this one right now. So if there's anybody you know that's like holding the instance, you might see about like joining somebody you know who's holding the instance. I know he's sitting there right now because he's on the European Dead Zone. It was somebody I was talking to in my Discord. But basically it's like not everybody's going to sit there all day, but depending on how early you see this video, how quickly you get to looking, you might check Destiny LFG. You might see on Twitter if anybody's holding a Xur instance, but if there's anybody you know who might be holding one, you might check around and see if anybody is over the course of this day. So you've got Banshee for about 18 hours from server reset, so about 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow. He's going to be having those weapon rolls, couple that you definitely might want to check out. Ada, she'll rotate those mods, I think, on a daily basis, but if you can get in there today, pretty good roll for Warmind Cell builds. And then if you can get into an instance of the EDZ with Xur, if somebody holds it long enough, you might be able to get this Scholar. This one I put at the end of the video because I know this one can be unlikely that you might get it, but I did want to make you aware of, for one, how the Xur instance works. Basically, after reset, if somebody's holding that instance of the area he's in, and you can actually get to it, it will actually still have some legendary weapons, and you'll know all these legendary weapons are what's going to be sold on Friday. They're just going to have different rolls on Friday. So these will switch. You'll have all these options. Apparently he's going to be selling the Scholar on Friday. I just don't know what the roll is going to be. I will be trying to make that Xur video while I'm on vacation, but we'll just see how it goes. But that's it. So go check Banshee, go check Ada-1, and if you can get into an instance with Xur, buy the Scout Rifle. It's pretty rare. I would imagine there's not a lot of options we're going to have, and I don't know what the other roll is going to be. If you can't make it into the Xur instance, it's not the end of the world. It is just a kinetic 150 Scout. It's just a rare one to get a hold of, so kind of cool if you can. But if you did enjoy the video, drop a like below. Leave a comment if you've got questions, if you've got an instance you're holding, if you've found a good place where you can find an instance, anything like that. Show some love in the comments for anybody who's trying to work on this type of stuff. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's Ebontis. On Twitch, it's Ebontis. Right here on YouTube, if you haven't subbed yet, please hit that sub button. Nice way to support me. If you want to know when my videos come out, hit that alert bell that lets you guys know from me to you when new videos pop into YouTube. And if you want to support me directly, you can join the channel as a member after you subscribe, or you can find my Patreon in the link below. Have a great one. I'll see you soon, and good luck.